Nicholas, if you
some nice days here.
Okay.
Because tomorrow night, as probably everybody knows, I do a performance with live taping on this little wall upstairs, together with improvising musicians. So that's a new activity I do since a couple of years, and I'm looking very much forward to this evening tomorrow night. Today I'm going to show you some of my work. What you see here in the exhibition is more or less a recent work. In my lecture I'm going to show a few older works. This is my house in Switzerland. I live in Switzerland and also in Berlin. I switch between these two places. This is my studio. Sometimes I'm working here. But beside my studio, I run a festival for over 35 years. Before I started as a 19-year-old guy organizing jazz concerts. And of course I did always posters for this. This is the festival hall. The festival just passed last week without my work. I can relax. This is the inside hall. This is a stage picture. As you can see, for the festival I do not just the poster but also all the signatures and the T-shirts and stuff, you know. This is an example of a stage design. My posters originally are all printed in silkscreen. So with this guy I worked over 40 years. I go back to the 1970. I did posters in smaller sizes, all different in size. But as you might know, the typical Swiss graphic design of the 60s, 50s, 60s, 70s, I never wanted to look like a Swiss designer. I was more influenced by pop art in that time and by the Polish posters, more in illustration style. This was my also a poster from the early 70s. I had, in these years, I was more looking for metaphors for my ideas. This was for a quintet, a strong fist, 5 fingers, you know, a quintet. I like illustration, but I like also type. So this is just lettering to illustrate it, the trio. And of course, very limited in colors, just blue on yellow. This idea comes from the many telephone calls I had with these musicians. For the young guys, what you see here up is an old telephone. They looked like this. And the saxophone, because his name was Coleman, and so I made a Coleman out of him. But you see, also the type is not typical Swiss. This is probably an influence by the Polish posters. But later, when I met the Polish designers like Tomaszewski and Swierski and so, they said, you know, we did it by hand because we had not the money to have a type ordered in the print shop. Anyway, this was probably one of my first favorite posters, 1980, for McCoy Tyner. It's all type, from top left to back, and all the information is in the poster. And of course, it's a principle, negative, positive. As we all know as designers, is always fascinating. For Sun Ra, Who knows Sanra? Is somebody knows? He was a famous big band leader, and this was my poster for it. This was for a concert with Indian musicians and jazz musicians. Can you see something? Elephant, okay. If not, doesn't matter. It's just a musical poster. Also here you see the type is not so big and important, but when you look at the poster you can easily find the information. So here all in the same size typography. This was for a last concert of an electric jazz group, plug out and finish. I was very much impressed by the cutouts, especially of Henri Matisse. You know these cutouts of Henri Matisse. And in these years also I tried very much by Caesar, cutter, just color paper and kind of collage. This poster is designed by the good old typewriter. You know, they had this before the computer time. You had this IBM with the ball. You could change the type, and I did it with that type machine. Another cutout for Brazilian musicians, Hermeto Pascoal. You can find inside images from Brazilian instruments and also from rainforest and whatever. 3 colors. This poster is all done by typography, but it's based on many, many sketches on a portrait of Thelonious Monk. Thelonious Monk is a kind of godfather of jazz, and for this dedication concert, I wanted to have a portrait of him, and I did many drawings. And one morning I came back to my work, and I just wrote the information text around an illustration. And I thought, oh, maybe I just take the type and leave the illustration. But it has also a secret behind. What I wanted to express is Thelonious Monk's favorite composition is Around About Midnight. So this is the rhythm of that piece. So it's not done word by word in colors, but in a specific rhythm. This poster I did also by an old technique, a woodcut. You know, I did a woodcut, but in the size A3, and put it up to a poster size. Also the type, of course. This was for Cecil Taylor. Cecil Taylor was a very radical musician. He really played until pain, you know. He was very, very strong pianist. Oh, battery running. Good. What is the battery? Have not electricity?
You can keep talking, it's okay. Please continue. You can continue.
Okay. So many ask me, why you cut the figure? I don't know, you know. Sometimes you don't know. You work in the process. You think about the music. You do something, and it's a kind of surrealistic. But there is not always an explanation, and it has not to be. This is an old typography poster. It's Futura, as you can easily see, Futura 3/4 bolt, and I cut it. Just and to bring in some rhythm. This poster I did right after I visited Australia for the first time. And I was very, very, I admired a lot these rock drawings by the Aboriginals. And when I was back home, I did simple drawings in remembering these fantastic drawings. And this was the poster. But maybe this poster also shows, I have not many principles in my work, but one is probably to make the poster as big as I can. You know, I go to the edges. That means the format. You can watch even the next posters, but this shows extremely this idea. This poster is just done by color and brush drops, like, because I like Jackson Pollock, of course. 3 colors. This poster is one without words. And it was in '92. There was the first UN Ecological Congress in Rio de Janeiro. And they had the very nice idea to invite one designer from each country, from 30 countries. And I was the lucky guy from Switzerland. And we met each other with our partners. It was such a nice 10-day party in Rio, of course. I remember from France was Pierre Bernard, from Germany, Uwe Lösch, from Russia was Trofimov.
He's my uncle.
Is your uncle? Great. And who else was? It was from and South Americans, of course. From America was Nancy Skolos. From England was Brodie, Neville Brodie, and so on. And everybody did a poster for this Congress. This looks maybe more typical Swiss. And this for a typography poster exhibition. T-Po. Plakat. Huh? And the poster inside. And back to brush. It's all by brush. I was also very enthusiastic about the Chinese calligraphy. Ink and brush. And trained a lot also. But also I draw this poster just with brush and ink. Here I used classical rubber stamps, letters. Also, it's good to play with them. The music, the styles of the music influences a lot my design. This was for techno, so echo of techno. So I had to go into new fields, you know. It's hard computer work. But also, I like both. I like the hand-made stuff just with brush or ink or color or pencil. But on the other hand, computer programs make it so easy.
Did you make it with brush?
with a
Just you said, because nowadays you just make it with computers, but with brush it's insane.
Of course, it's the opposite. But anyway, structure, rhythm stays the same. I look for a movement in the format. Music is such a great subject that you always have to find for a rhythm movement. We can be jealous about the filmmakers. They do film with moving pictures, but we have just the format, 2-dimensional, but we have to do the rhythm in our design, you know. Again, brush. This is not computer. This is not and stencils. I think all designers are in a way collectors of material, letters, stickers, whatever, and the metal stencils. I have quite a collection of, and you can spray them, yeah. And just it's one color print. It's very cheap. One color print. This is also a kind of to look for a movement in the poster, you know. It's the click, the two musicians. One is tuba player, one is alto saxophone. But you can see both, and it arrives a little movie. Huh? And the type, you know, is not so important. You can read it when you are interested. Otherwise, you have the picture in the streets. This poster comes from the idea how the musicians play their instruments. There was one was accordion, one was alto saxophone, and one was contrabass. So I said, oh, let's do it with fingerprints. It's all done by fingerprints. And the tape. This was one of the first tape posters I did. Just by a little tape. This was also interesting. 2009. I always start with just with a pencil and a white sheet of paper, almost A4. We start when I was thinking, but I never ended with a pencil poster. This was the first time I went to the printer with my sketch, and I said, "Can you print this color? Have you ever done?" No, never. So we figured out, we did a print in two colors. One was silver and one a near black, like anthracite. And we reached, in the original, you think it's really a pencil drawing. Very well printed. And the rememberings on the early school days, the blackboard and the chalk. It's so easy. And I did it also a chalk. I could scan, and even you wish is a little bit, you know, and it looked really like a chalk on. I did two times a chalk poster. And what is this? Do someone remember the old instant lettering, a letter set we called? Letter set. I had old sheets in my studio. I said, oh, let's try again with the old letter set sheets. And I did a poster with them.
Такие переводные черные буковки, сейчас их не используют, но раньше дизайнеры до компьютера, ну типа наклейки, то есть перетираешь и по буковке собираешь весь плакат.
Вот это вот такая фактура, да?
Поэтому да, она такая немножко драная. Сушеный нитросет, подсушенный.
And I liked when it broke a little bit, you know. This is for a percussion concert. Drums, gongs and stuff, you know. Computer. And when I got retired from teaching, I had a professorship in Stuttgart, Germany for 15 years. And on one hand, I gave over my festival to my nephew, the jazz festival, and I stopped teaching, so I got a lot of time. And I said, I don't want to work for more clients, but I want more free time, more do free works. And I had a problem in Berlin. My washing machine had a leak. It dropped. And I went to the facility shop to have some plastic tape to repair. Huh? And what I saw, they have different colors. God, I bought all. And at home, before I repaired the machine, I worked with this tape. And it was so fantastic. Since then, it's my new passion. It's so nice. So just, you can do everything with them, you know. You can cut it, paint. It's easy work. That's all the material I need, you see. And I do just compositions. Is composition and improvisation. All I like in the music. I can do it here visually. I can build up cities. Color, black and white, abstract, kind of tape, kind of Chinese, or crazy, or kind of lettering. It's fun, just fun. Then the dots. You have so many different dots, color dots you can buy in the supermarket even. Then I discovered also paper tape, you know. You can throw, not cut. Also fun. Just it opens a new situation, you know. Landscapes in a way. Just paper. Last May, my wife and me took holidays in Greece, and I did a lot of drawings there, but when I came back I did tape, rememberings on Greece. Can you see Greece? Yeah. Yep. Or here, also Greece. Just out of dots and tape stripes. And then I went on, places. They are quite new from this summer, all. This is a silkscreen print edition, but based on my tape work. This is a poster, also in these years, when I started with tape, lettering and so, just black and white, crazy letters, but readable in a Chinese way, from Jörg, Vicky Halder, Barry Guy, Lucas Nickley, 20th June 2019, 8 o'clock. Bau 4 is the place, Altbüro is easy to read for some. Yeah, but you know, I know when it's not easy to read. Most people read it. When it's simple, nobody reads. That's true. Look, the agency work. They do new, action, auction, big words. Nobody wants to see. That's true. It's true. This is also work. I mean, it's computer work, but it was for a touristic poster, a place near us. It's for winter and summer season. And of course, I don't need the white. White is the ground, the paper, and it has a feeling of winter as well as summer. It's for a jazz group. Movement. Yeah, it's here. Yeah, I like, from time to time, I like just to work in black and white. It's always fascinating. The 100% contrast, black and white. It's also with the tape work. You see, I went back, sometimes I do just black and white. because when you got tired of the colors, you can use all the color tape, but you go back to that black and white. It's just a piece of bread instead of a big meal of delicatesse. Huh? This was for a group of a trombone player. You know, the trombone, you know the instrument? Blue. It looks three-dimensional in the streets, you know. Is it here also? Have you here?
Yes.
Is here, yeah. Yeah, behind, this is back. Of course, this is kind of tape, but done on the computer. Very easily, very easily. Just dots and lines easily. A real tape poster. This is the beige, I mean.
Yes.
So it's semi-transparent. You can overprint. It's printed in 2 prints, you know, that you... And that gives a very, very nice print. Is also here, huh? This was for an exhibition in Berlin, A to Z gallery, and this is my poster, just tape it. So, and here started a new function. I started here my live taping. Because the gallery was a big gallery, 2 big walls. I said, okay, I can fill up one side with all the little sheets of my tape work, and on the other side, I would try now to do it big. And the second idea was, why not directly with musicians? And we started, and it became fine. It was so fun, also for the audience. And that was 2020, right before the pandemic. But we had the audience very, very crowded, and we could make it. Back to the posters, just dots, more or less, 3-dimensional feelings. Your print is wrong, I don't know why. This is a transparent, is overprinted in 2 colors. You can read the blue and the red. The blue is the group, Lucas Isera Rufer. And the other one is Jazz in Bau 4 Altbüron, Friday 20, and the date. I don't know why it happens with you. Is the poster also here?
No.
Oh, not just in the card, in the postcard, huh?
In my folder, here.
Ah, in the card you have it.
Yes,
And
but
the blue you have overprinted.
the magic.
I don't know why. Shit happens.
We will discuss it after exhibition.
Okay. This is a poster for a group with the names Baumschule, and it means tree school or whatever. Yeah, it's hard to translate. Yeah. Another poster for last year. It's just type, but of course, in my way, like how I learned from taping, to compose letters with different colors. It's also a game. I think it's a big fun to make own letters, compose them with different pieces. And this is a recent poster from this year, spring. It was for a group with a Japanese piano player, Aki Takase, and the group named Japanik. And I had the idea, in a way, she's very energy. She has a full energy. And I was thinking about the flag, the Japanese flag, but vibrating and firing, and it's a kind of, she liked very much, by the way. She wants to have a CD cover with that design. this was also this spring is okay. It compares a little bit to the old poster of Thelonious Monk with the portrait I showed earlier. But it came. The group's name is Conference Call. I say, huh? Conference Call? Okay, just an ear, and it works very fine with the simple words and all the information. This is for a concert with a jazz sextet and the Philharmonic Orchestra. And I call it classic and jazz. Class, huh? It's also from this year. This poster, you are the first who see it. It's from time to time I do information posters, just put in the streets of Villizau. I have about 12 places for big posters to place. And I do some messages, sometimes political, sometimes just for the society or for New Year or so. The last year, by the way, I did one for and peace to the people on earth. You know, just the windows. Have you seen that? I don't have it with me. And this I did now because it's a big discussion now, like here, I guess, food wasting. Huh? So I did this poster because it starts when you go to buy in the shop, in the supermarket. Fill it up. Hey, can you eat that all? You know? So I did this poster. In the first view, it's a colorful poster. You like to look at it. Ah, nice color. And then you have a message. I don't know how it works. It was not hanging yet in the streets. Another crazy typography poster. If you try, you can read. Jazz im Bau 4 Altbüro, you know. It looks like a little bit Georgian letters, no? And then I was so lucky. Some years ago, there was a young fashion company. They started, and they asked me. They wanted to do fashion design with out of my poster designs, and I said, of course, yes. And so they did so nice work. And here are a couple of images. The shirt is, by the way, that's from the typewriter poster. You see. And this is from a different poster. This is from Don Pullen. This is, maybe you know it, it's also so a brush, figures, jazz figures, 2000. You can find it on the website. Also, ink work. They could change colors how they liked, of course. They just used my design, but they did not change anything on the design. Ah, here you see. This out of a poster. And Schattenspiel, that was the label. And they did a poster with my name, pullover. Unfortunately, not in my size. Then I show you a couple of. This was the gallery where I did my first tape work in Berlin. Here you see with the musicians a big wall. We did a couple of music sets. Here with a singer. She was great, improvising. It's all the same place. Then after this, we went to Salzburg for a festival, and we also worked with different musicians there. you see the beige, the paper you can.
Yes, I understand. Я понял, что надо купить.
And here another place with two musicians. At the end, after 2 sets, this was actually after 2-hour work. 1 hour and a half, 1 hour the second. This is in Germany, Eberswalde, outside, just on a window of a building. That's it. That's it. Thank you. Madloba. It's are we going to show the
Видео.
and about 3 months ago, a guy from Tel Aviv asked me if he could animate my posters, some of my posters. And I said, oh, great. Yeah, let's do. And he worked on it. And what arrived is great. And I put it on my website. Here is the poster and here's the movement. Maybe they have questions or so.
Если у вас есть личные вопросы или как-нибудь погадать на судьбу свою, please ask Herr Troksler.
If they have.
You did it a lot of posters for bands, but not all of them are readable. How do they react to that? Because posters must be like, to advertise the concert.
I think they are readable.
Yeah.
But anyway, what I said, I think first, what I want is that people look at the posters, because there are so many posters in the streets, especially in our cities. I don't know if you know the situation in Switzerland. It's a very good poster system, all the same size, but there are so many, and to make the people looking at some posters, it's not so easy. You have to do it in a special way, and it's sometimes it's really also then not so easy readable, because it makes you wondering, what is that? Well, it helps. It helps. And anyway, the most posters are for music, and it's a people who is open to new shapes and new expression, and so I guess. In the cultural sector, it's easier than for real commercial work, of course. Welcome.
So before the tape, when you were experimenting with the different types of materials, like 3D computer, how do you have an idea where to switch? What do you want to check next?
I have a lot. I have my collections in my studio. It comes very spontaneously. Say, yeah, let's try again a stamp or whatever, or take a letter set or a brush or whatever. It has not much to do with concept. Even I think I have not a. I change the concept for a design process every time. I had not one way, you know. Sometimes it comes out from a piece of music. Sometimes it comes out by accident with a brush, you know, or with a drawing. I say I like to experiment. That's the only thing I can say you. Just experiment, then you come to new ideas. If you do it the same way as you already know, it's not so interesting for you. So make it interesting for yourself. Just try something else. Try out a new technique. Just, it brings you to new ways.
How you choose colors for posters?
The colors for?
Posters.
It's always a question. Shall I take color? Which color? You have all colors. You can choose what you want. How I do? Sometimes like this. I try on the computer. I change and change until I'm happy with it. It's also a game. The whole design process is a game, and it's a playing. It's fun to do it. That's it. Let's. The problem is to finish. Say no. Let's do in these two colors. You know, you can check out all kind of two color contrast, but at the end you have to choose. So let's say it's also good.
Sorry. And how much time it takes you to make a poster from the very first idea to?
Good question.
the great house?
Sometimes half an hour, sometimes 10 days, sometimes a month.
How do you decide that the work is finished?
I decide. You are a designer?
Wannabe.
You always know it's finished now. It is a point you know, and you have to know. If you have at the end 5 different ideas, something went wrong. If you go to a client with 5 different solutions, you will have a big problem. I only show a client one solution, only one. And I teach my students show only one proposal to the client. If you show 2, says, oh, can we take this from this and this from this and make a mixture? Yes, you can. And it will be bullshit, you know? No, only one. You can have one behind. Huh? If he's really not happy, you can go and say, I work again, but you already have it, you know. So you can work. No, it's a decision. And how I work, I go on, I come to an end. Very, very seldom I do 2 different processes, you know. It is more or less, it's a result of a development.
How to explain the client that you have a lot of...
I'm a good seller. You have to learn. You have to sell your work. I'm probably a lucky guy. When a client comes to me, he trusts me.
Yeah, you don't have to, prove that it's only right.
Yeah, I was lucky because the customers I got, they already knew my jazz posters. They liked the jazz posters. And when I started my jazz concerts and festivals, I was a young guy, and my audience was young guys. But with the years, they became positions in companies and so on. And they wow, I know a designer. So they trusted me, and I profit a lot by the jazz posters.
Выращивайте себе клиентов.
Is it about, networking or social?
I did not much. I did not much. I had always too much work.
I also like to ask you about maybe your routine or some rituals.
Routine is the killer. I don't believe in routine.
So you said that art is a game for you mostly. It's a fun. It's you enjoy
A serious fun.
But
it has to be serious, of course.
How to handle it?
Because I like it.
At the same time, fun. At the same time,
Yeah.
serious.
Yeah, it has to be fun.
What helps you?
It's fun. What can I say? I'm 76 now. I work every day. I like the work.
Great.
But it has to be a serious fun, we would say. But on the other hand, you ask something between. What do you ask something?
I ask about your routine.
Yeah, routine. Routine is such a pity. I hate routine. And I think I was working always against routine. Routine means exactly that. I know how I do. I have my way to reach a result. That's not true. I want to be surprised in another way to get a new result. I'm only satisfied when I reach myself something new. Not the old shit I can do, but how many times I want. It's easy, but to find out a new solution, that satisfies you. And I was always looking for that.
Sorry, last question from me and no more. 3 things you've told your students. Do you remember some, the main points you try to talk to your students? What's the most important things you teach your students?
Do it your own way. Do it your own way. You cannot. I have no reception how to do. Please don't take anything as a reception, as I'm saying. It's not true. It's not true for you. Just you have to find out how I can get satisfied in designing. That's the only thing. There are so different designs around. And the ones you like are also different. Huh? I like many good designs, but I wouldn't do it the same way, I do it my way.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, let's have a drink.
Ну что, друзья, подходит к концу наш вечер. I would like to say thank you very much to ProGilvetia, who support your visit here to help us. Thank you very much, аудитория. И вот вы аудитория, и вот эта аудитория тоже. Вот. Завтра, tomorrow, in 8 p.m., Никлаус Трокслер будет make performance from the tape.
Wow.
Да, вот прямо будет играть музыка. Абсолютно импровизация, improvisation.
I
Абсолютно.
don't know what I want to do. I don't want to know.
Nicholas don't know about how many musicians would
I don't know the music.
И мы уже купили скотч, правда, неправильный. Неправильный скотч. Uncorrect tape.
No, I take what it is.
Но Никлас не привык отступать, сопротивление материала, вот это вот все, вы знаете. Вот, поэтому приходите в 8, возьмите себе наверху пиво, это beer or
White wine.
white wine, и будете слушать импровизационную музыку и смотреть, как Никлас будет импровизировать. Это бесплатно, это тоже открыто, так что вы можете привести всех своих знакомых, родственников, просто вот всех. Вот. Послезавтра для избранных состоится воркшоп. Я прошу прощения у всех, кто просится еще, потому что уже эта комната не вместит. Вот, у нас уже 25, а может быть даже и 30 человек. Ну вот, если кто-то не захочет приобрести плакат, но захочет что-то приобрести, там наверху еще можно купить открытки. Postcards with your posters. Small. Ну вот, друзья, ну вот теперь вы можете там фотографироваться с Никласом, make a photo with you, to make a selfie. Наташа, а включишь свет? Я...
But